I couldn't use my last name as like every.
Couldn't use your last name. Can't wait to talk about that.
Every aesthetic that I wanted was already taken.
Oh, in the Instagram. I see. All right. All right, that story and more coming up. Roll it, Hal. It never goes so well. Oh, there you go. See, look, I told you I knew it wasn't going well.
Gotta be something.
I'll show you. And this is how we're doing the show from now. Hi, my name is Jay Ryan. This is Nick. Oh.
You can't even see me.
Oh, we're having fun already. I love those days.
Oh, my.
It's the Thursday show. Yay! Hi, Mrs. Ryan.
Hello, hello.
Hello, everybody else. Let's see. Bring it in here, Mrs. Ryan. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. There we go. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the old late night playset. My name is Jay Ryan. This is Nicole Ryan, and today is Thursday, August 22nd, 2019. I just can't believe it. Everything they say, kids, is true. When you get older, the time just
goes way faster.
Yeah, like 60 minutes. It's like it happens by the minutes and then seems like the days eventually. Like the days click by.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're back. We're back in the old late night playset. What's happening, Mrs. Ryan? How are you today?
A little better than yesterday.
Yeah, you look fantastic. I like your new Hunziker RS shirt there.
Thank you, thank you. I enjoy the 3/4 length.
It's a baseball shirt. Yeah, I love that. Looks really good on you, too.
Thank you.
Where do we pick up from yesterday, folks? Let's see. I guess the Ralph's guy is what we have to talk about. Where did you... All right, well, we told a story on the show yesterday about a Ralph's delivery experience that I had that we've done, I don't know how many times in the past, that has been wonderful.
Seamless.
Wonderful. We talk about it on the show. I write good reviews for them online. Like, it's always been a great thing, and it really helps us with the given situation that we have. Anyway, then had a not so great experience, and it really did come down to the person doing the work, and it came down to like, I can now tip the person and leave a review, and what would you do? Blah 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 blah. You remember the story, Mrs. Ryan? What would you do? Coincidentally, Mrs. Ryan was on that show as a kid. It used to be hosted by Mark Summers after Double Dare, called What Would You Do? She was actually on it as a kid with her family. But what would you do in this case, Mrs. Ryan?
I still would just leave money the same and then write a strongly worded review of the situation. And I would like to add, there was a really bad strawberry red on top. So I watched it back yesterday, and it's like, no, that was obvious.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of stuff that was obvious. Yeah, all right, well, a few people chimed in with comments and what they would do or suggestions with what I could do, some of which seemed a little bit far-fetched. It was almost like people just trying to be creative. And then Paul Kennel came up with a good one as well. And I don't know. I will tell you what I did because I was going to run out of time. I did it already because the math was off because of the Steve Mazon day and blah blah blah, and the day we told it and the whole thing. So anyway, I had to act already. So I've acted. I've made a move, and are you curious to know what it is?
Very.
I'm not very proud of it.
All right.
I don't feel bad about it. I feel like I didn't have a move, so I did what I could do.
Okay.
Which was split the difference right down the board. Joshua B got 3 out of 5 stars, which actually is more than half. It's 3/5, which is nice. And then it said, "Oh, sorry. Why? I'm sorry you had such a bad experience. Because they would prefer the 5 stars, of course." It said, "What went wrong?" And then, of course, it was the products, it was the store, it was different things, and or the service. And I said, "Click service," and then it gives you different options. Was it server friendliness? Yes, that was an issue. Was it accuracy of shopping from the shopper? Yes, that was definitely an issue. Was it something about just the service that the shopper provided? And I was like, yes, that was an issue. So I checked all 3 of those things.
Okay.
And then when it came to the tip, I cut it in half because I didn't know what to do. I wanted the part of me of like I didn't get the service that I paid for wanted to not pay for it. But then I was like, well, he could have been having a bad day or whatever. Benefit of the doubted the hell out of it. And I was like, well, I would just leave it. But I wouldn't have felt good about that. And then I would have maybe not used their service in the future, or I would have, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to go the whole dirty review thing and everything. So I went half with the stars, half with the tip, made it $5 instead of 10. And I feel
really well.
I feel good about what I did. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's no resolution, but I feel good about the move because I feel I didn't have a move. So with that, I feel like I almost went diplomatic and was like, okay, we'll cut the bicycle in half.
I feel like you were honest about your situation and still diplomatic.
Nice. Obviously, I would have preferred the whole thing had gone differently.
Right.
Is what it is. So that's what I did.
I love
That's
you.
the kind of guy I am.
You're a great dude.
I didn't want anything bad to happen to the guy because, like I said, who knows what his story is. He didn't tell me. If he had said, hey, sorry, I'm having a bad day, like sometimes the guy at the grocery store will tell you, no big deal. Man, I know what that's like. No big deal.
Yeah.
Maybe you get more tip from that, from being honest. Anyway, that's what's going on with me, Mrs. Ryan. That's what happened.
Right.
I've got only a couple things to play and one thing to do because I don't think I got... You know what? I'm going to set this up while we play our TBT today.
Okay.
Our TBT is brought to you by the Carson Chan, Mr. Watch Guy, the Carson Chan. We've been hanging out with him a lot lately. He's in Hong Kong now, so I guess we won't get the chance again until next year. But we had been hanging out with him a lot, and he said he loves our story, and he said, please keep telling your story. So with that, this was something done by Patrick Sayer, and coincidentally edited by our friend Girk too over at Grandson Creative. And this was a little thing. I think it was originally supposed to be more than what it is. So this will come across kind of as a little teaser, but either way, you get the idea because you know us now. Roll it, Hal. TBT.
It was around the holidays of last year. You'd gotten really sick, and it's a really scary time. We thought we should totally go get a new car. It was just such a leap of faith getting that car and doing it together and finding something to be excited about that it really turned around our whole life.
Every time we get in the car, it's always special. We've sort of redefined ourselves because of our newly found Porsche life.
We worked in the entertainment business for a long time. It's where you make movies. It's where you make beautiful things. And
It's very easy to sort of get sucked into that becoming your life. So anytime that you can sort of find something that gets you outside of that, it's something that you should follow.
what I love about having the Porsche is that it's not just going to go somewhere. Like
Really, the destination's almost unimportant. Nothing makes me feel the way I feel than when I'm behind the wheel of the 911.
It literally gives your soul a facelift because it lets you see things in a different way.
That's what we need in our life, some positivity, some happiness, some cheer, some sunshine. I feel like that's what we got.
It brought passion back. It's our experience together with the car that has allowed us to regrow our life together.
Woohoo, Mrs. Roan!
Oh, it gets me every time.
Yeah, it does. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah, you don't look fine.
I'm fine. They're happy tears.
I know that to be true. But it's still, that's great. Good for you. All right, so now I was supposed to have an East Coast feed for you. I talked to the Casman this morning. I don't have an East Coast feed for you, but I wanted one specifically because the Casman and Brooke are down in Florida with Uncle Mike for the annual Casman birthday party. Now It's Casman's birthday on Saturday, August 24th. Send all gifts to Ridgefield BMW. He'll get them when he returns back in Connecticut. But I didn't want us to miss the opportunity to maybe even talk to the Casman, so I thought I would try this.
Nice.
well, I don't know that this will work, but we'll see if we can't actually get the Casman. Can you hear him through there? Great.
You hear the rain.
So we'll see. At the very least, we'll all leave a message for the Casman here. They're probably out in the pool or something. It's 3:30 there, 3:15 there.
Oh, yeah. Brooke, get your hat.
Hey, Steve Kaz, leave a message. Later.
The mailbox is full and cannot accept
Oh!
Goodbye.
Oh, well, you're just going to have to believe us then, I guess, when you watch the show. Son of a gun. I thought we'd be able to do a whole thing for you, buddy. All
We
right.
tried.
Yep, that's that. Well, happy birthday, Kaz, man. I don't know which one it is, but happy birthday to you. We were going to sing in the whole thing. I'm certainly not going to sing into a camera without you on the other line. Do not even expect that to happen. There's just no chance in hell of that happening. But we love Carson Chan. We love Brooke and the Casman. We love Uncle Mike. And Susan, of course, down there at Club Suzette in, where are they, West Palm Beach? West Palm, I believe, down in Florida. So that's it, Mrs.
Awesome.
Ryan. I have, one other thing, but it'll be really quick.
Let's do it.
Dave Watch.
Dave Watch 2019.
2019, I'm putting an X across 22 because we have not heard anything else from earlier this week. But, please do not let that dampen the spirits because we are all riding very high on the news from earlier this week. So I want to just speed through this to show we have to do it. Dave is not sitting here today, but still great news
It's
this week.
in the air, man.
Yeah, gonna happen.
Yeah.
Don't know when. Gonna happen.
I think so, too.
Now it's time to ask the question. It's on everyone's mind, Mrs. Ryan.
Da-dun, da-dun.
What's going on, Mrs. Ryan? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
There is a national park called the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, and it's in North Carolina and Tennessee. I guess it borders both of them.
Sure is. Beautiful highway that leads up to it. You've seen it on Top Gear.
Oh, right. Okay. It's very pretty. Well, a young lady borrowed a stone from there on a class trip, took it with her.
I don't think you're supposed to do that.
You're not. It's illegal. But she sent it back with a letter saying, sorry, it was so pretty there. I wanted to take a souvenir, but that's not right.
Sounds familiar.
Uh-huh. And so she sent a note, and the National Park Department thanked her for being upfront and used it as a FYI to everyone else not to take stuff.
Yes, that's how it could have gone.
Yeah. Well, for everyone
a
else,
lot.
there's
That's a great one.
salamanders and fish that get disturbed when you move rocks. So heads up.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, I think, yeah, anything. Gets
There was a
disturbed. That's
huge.
amazing.
They have a huge salamander down there. It's like a foot long. It's so big. So
Almost a Komodo dragon.
yeah, just maybe don't move the rocks. That's where their eggs are. Reducing stress impedes healing. Right?
Sure,
That's
yeah.
kind of everyone
Yes.
really knows that part.
Yes.
And that's been studied a lot in.
You heal with your mind, and the stress keeps you away from thinking about that stuff. So, I mean, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, and
Stress is a distraction. Is really what it comes
Brittany
down to.
and I were talking about that. It's like that's part of why I don't like when people ask me questions. It's like there's so much stress that I have to deal with that people don't know about that. Like I don't want to talk about all that. But animals, stress.
You have if I may, you have a different barometer in life than other people. You're precious with your time because you don't know how much you have and the quality of it while you have it. So, why would you want to talk about something that isn't either interesting or stimulating or benefiting or anything, whatever? So I think that it's understandable that you are the way you are. I think once you're more comfortable with it, I think everything will improve. I know that's not part of your story, but this is between you and me and everybody else.
I think you're right, and I'm working really hard on it.
Yeah, yeah, you are, and it's awesome because everybody can see.
Thank you.
Everybody says.
Well, to that point, thanks everyone for bringing your dogs out because I'm not inherently a dog person, but I do enjoy seeing all of them around.
It's the happiness. I saw you start it with the Malibu Kitchen, and then Jeff swore it with Jezebel, and now
Yeah.
I've seen it with other people. It's great.
It's pretty rad. But so stress impedes healing, blah, we all know that. But, and that's been studied in a lot of different ways. But the military is finally saying, okay, let's implement something with what we've learned from all these studies. Like, how can we integrate animals into the healing process so that soldiers aren't more stressed out when they fly home to get fixed? So in the aeromedical staging areas and local domestic transport, they're bringing in animals,
Like therapy animals for this
dogs that have
troops
been trained to sit with people, and it brings
Stay
their
calm. Yeah.
it keeps their cortisol levels down.
No
and
chihuahuas.
as far as I know, but some of them are little dogs, so it
Oh.
helps with keeping their cortisol levels down. It keeps them preoccupied with something that they have empathy for, these animals. So it's
Interesting again, though. Essentially, it distracts from the stress. Back to your earlier one.
yeah.
Takes away from the stress so that they can have good, calm, happy thoughts and then heal themselves.
That is what the whole
Nice
impetus
theme,
of this
nice
study.
theme.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, it's man. I'm doing my part. Okay, there is something that probably people have seen this. I might be late to the party, but it's going to start touring. It's called That Golden Girls Show.
Oh,
And
no.
it's puppets.
Oh, my.
Yeah, it was an off-Broadway show a couple years ago, and now it's going to be touring around the Midwest.
Do we know
and
what?
stuff.
Are we talking marionette type puppets? Are we talking, you know what I mean, like Team America? Or are we talking about more like Muppet, hand puppets?
The
Do we
trailer
know?
I saw, they did not seem to be marionettes. They seemed to be
More hand puppets.
Yeah, you couldn't really see people doing stuff, but yeah, I mean that was it. It's supposedly a little raunchier than the show, but it's puppets. So I would love to talk to someone that goes to see this because I really am super curious. But all the main people are.
Do we know? Is it coming to a city near you? It's on tour. Is that what you said?
It's on tour across the Midwest.
Okay.
So they're in New Hampshire and Michigan and like. No, that's not technically the Midwest, New Hampshire, but it's not in the big cities.
all
It's
good.
not New York or LA.
It's all good.
Whatever. Or you can go to that goldengirlshow.com. And then lastly, there was an 8-year-old.
TheGoldenGirlShow.com is definitely probably how you should get your information. TheGoldenGirlShow.com. Is that what you said? Is that what you said?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe so.
That's where we'll throw people.
Or Google is a really nice tool.
All right.
Lastly, there was in Germany on the Autobahn, an 8-year-old took his mother's Volkswagen out. It was an automatic, but was like, I just wanted to drive a little bit. It was around midnight, and she called the cops and was like, I don't know what to do. And it was on like an 86 mile an hour zone where he went. And he, to his credit, he was 8 years old. He pulled over and like put his hazards on in a parking lot. Was like, I just wanted to drive. I didn't know that it would be that fast.
Smacks of a story, and it's funny, of course. I'm going to go harken back to Letterman, but there was a guy, and this is the old show, I think. I don't remember, I don't want to say, but at some point in the 90s or 80s Letterman, there was a kid named Rocco something. Kid's all grown up now. Rocco, come be on our show, Rocco. Rocco something, I'm going to look it up, but he was a little kid, like 5 or 6, same as what you're talking about, and his little sister wanted to go for a drive. So he put her in the car and they went for a drive, and he got pulled over by the police. And he's like, "Oh, so what happened? Did you know how did you know the police were behind you?" "I saw the lights in the mirror." And he's like, "So what did you do when you saw the lights in the mirror?" "I pulled over." It was absolutely brilliant. I wish I knew you were doing that. I would have put a clip up.
Oh my!
But I'm gonna look for it in the future. It's great. That's so
That's
funny.
really funny.
And the kid's okay, and the car's okay. Everything amazingly worked out without incident.
Same.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Bravo.
so
Hey, and that's been What's Going On, Mrs. Ryan. Dun, 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 dun. Good job. All right, I neglected to tell you all about our guest earlier, or did I talk? We talked about her name, and that was about it. That was before the show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right, I neglected to tell you who our guest is. It is Brittney Hamilton. Brittney Hamilton is no stranger to the Porsche community here in Los Angeles, but if you are watching from outside that area, you're going to learn all about her today. She is a photographer. She is into cars. She is into fashion. She's into a lot of the cool stuff that the kids are into. So we're going to hear all about it from her. Just a few minutes, Mrs. Ryan, after this break. Brittney will be sitting in that chair right there. We're excited to talk to her. More to come right after this. How do you feel?
Standing up. I mean,
Wherever you're comfortable. If I is what it is. Right, Mrs. Ryan?
Yes.
All right. Bring it back here. All right, we are back with Brittney Hamilton. Hi, Brittney Hamilton.
Hi.
I'm so confused by calling you Brittney Hamilton because thus far, until today, today's the first day I've ever heard that name.
Yes.
So why have I always known you to have a different name? First of all, welcome, and then tell me what the hell's up.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. So my Instagram handle is Brittney Leister. My middle name is Lee. When I was changing and creating a handle, I'm a lot about aesthetics as a person, and so anything aesthetically I could choose with Brittney and Hamilton were not available. I'm not an underscore person.
I'm the same way.
There's few things that I
won't do
just
it.
won't do.
It's too many steps to get that one character.
Exactly, and I didn't want a large series of number after my name was also the only other option. So I went with my middle name. Me and my sisters call each other Seaster. And so my middle name is Lee, and my handle is Brittney Leister.
As in, like, with an accent? Like, hello, my sister? Like
Kind
my sister from New Haven?
I've
There
heard that.
used to be
Kind
a thing.
of, but
My sister
it's-
from New Haven?
It's funny, and
Jose Jimenez. It was a whole thing.
my name is actually in my bio, but it's a common misconception. My last name is Leister, and it's not upsetting to me.
So all week I have been promoting you and talking about Brittney. Brittney Leister's going to be. We're very excited. Have a conversation with Brittney Leister.
But people know that because
Okay.
of my handle, so I think.
Well, but then doing research, you have a different Instagram. Do you have an Instagram with?
I have two. So one of them, what I want to do with myself is build a brand around myself and cars and fashion, and use everything that I'm personally passionate about and use that to do something very unique to me. It is something I feel in my soul. It's something I'm excited about doing. But I'll always continue to take photos of cars.
Yes.
So I wanted to keep my personal account that I've had for many years and have my work, and then do another account, which is I'm Honey and the Bee, and that's the photos of me with cars. And I wanted to keep those two things separate so that it's obvious what my work
see.
is.
Okay. So the Honey and the Bee is more really work.
So that's
Is that right? What we're calling? That's more of like a. we would
Well-
call that a digital portfolio, maybe.
maybe so, but I didn't take those photos, which is why I wanted a differentiation. So
You understand this. So that's the one where you're talent, and then the other one you're the photography talent.
yes. So like a personal page and sort of a brand page, I guess.
How does that fit with you with the old PR world? Everything's changing.
It depends on the goal of any of it.
Yeah.
How about this goal?
I don't know what the goal is.
To start a brand where you incorporate all of your interests, right?
Yeah,
Cars,
and
fashion, photography.
as things are growing, I see that there's potential opportunity for both accounts to do different things, but I really did see a lot of growth within being able to use my eye for fashion and choosing certain cars. And the car is my muse. I choose an outfit based on the car and want to create beautiful imagery in that way. And I had a
That's
thought,
interesting.
I can start this and put it all in one thing, but I just wanted there to be a separation between the photos that I take and the ones that someone else has done. Mm-hmm. I like giving credit to people, to be honest.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
So you asked them to tag that work one instead of your personal one?
I tag everyone that participates, either it's the car owner or the photographer that took the photos. They're all cited there. And then the other ones, it's just that's all of my work on Brittney Leister. So,
I love it.
yeah.
So today we'll be talking about Brittney Leister.
Great.
Is that right?
Yes.
Brittney Leister Hamilton.
Yes.
Tell us about you. We'll get to what you do and everything today, but like how did you get there? I don't know when we
So-
met. I don't recall. I can't remember where or how any of that happened. But we know you now.
Yes. Cars for me in a big way came into my life about 3 years ago. There was a good friend that had some cars, a GT3, a GT4, a McLaren 12C, and I got the chance to ride and drive in a few of those cars. And it was the GT3 that really was like, oh, I get this. Like really downforce in a car and just being in the car with someone who knows how to drive well. It was that for me that really changed things. I thought cars was kind of a boy thing, but then I found really beautiful cars that perform at a really high level, and it was just a moment that clicked for me. And I started getting really nerdy about the names of them and the facts of them and the details of them, and it was a feeling. And then a year and a half ago, the Grand Prix in Long Beach in 2018, My little brother came out for it. He does car photography as well. And we ran around together for 2.5 days and shot cars, and I was like elated. And I thought,
All the smells, all the sounds,
Yeah.
everything being there.
it was the most incredible time, and it was something that I did continuously for 2.5 days, and I wanted more of it. And so that was the first time I shot cars, and I just didn't ever stop since then.
Wow. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think of you as being a car person, like a car, you know what I mean? Because when I see you at
Yeah.
car events, that's where I see you. I guess I don't go to a lot of fashion events.
I go to a lot of car events, so you're right.
So, you know what I mean? So it's like, so I guess my point is, you dove in like really deep.
Yeah. Looking back historically in life, there's been something always that I was really passionate about for a certain time. I played volleyball really competitively from 14 through college, and then
Did you like it, or was that because of your height and you were pushed into it as
no,
a kid?
I loved it.
Okay.
I wasn't pushed into it. It was an actual interest,
Awesome.
and it was something that immediately I was like, I could be good at this. And so I played in club, I played in college, and I did that. I didn't do much else during that time, but that was my focus. And then I was a dental hygienist for 7 years, and I loved that
What?
anyways.
Holy cow.
Because I
You
got to...
Yeah, you also don't seem old enough to have had these lives. Wow, okay.
Thank you. But I got to have one-on-one time with people and do something to actually change the course of their health. That may not be something that everyone thinks about
Right.
in regards to dentistry, but I realized that my ability to connect one-on-one with people was really my forte.
Communicator.
Yeah. I do better. I'm what I guess you would call an introverted extrovert. I spend a lot of time by myself, but if I'm with people that I enjoy or that I can connect with, I can become very extroverted, which happens with cars.
And the company you keep around those cars.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard not to laugh around Bruce Brown.
Yeah. Oh, Bruce.
Oh, Bruce. Oh, that's funny. All right, so that's how you got in, and then you jumped in with both feet.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. What about your childhood? Before the college, before the volleyball and stuff? What kind of kid were you?
so
Where'd you grow up? How's that?
I grew up in Mesa, Arizona. I am one of 6 children.
Where do you fall within that?
I am number 3, but
shit.
this is always funny to explain because there was 3 girls and then a 7-year gap and 3 boys. My parents were married for 38 years, so yes, the same family, but I am technically baby girl.
Right.
And then
They've
my
had 2
youngest
lives of
brother
kids.
is baby
Wow.
boy. So middle child is not my
not
my
you, it's
stereotype,
not fitting.
even though
Right.
I am number 3 of
You're the
6.
baby.
So that was that. Funny enough,
That is some complicated math to explain to somebody. It makes perfect sense, but
Yeah.
it's convoluted as all get out.
Yeah.
historically, I tried to think back. Was cars ever a thing at that point? When I was 16 years old, my next door neighbor was an attorney. He did some work and got a trade for a Lamborghini.
Whoa.
And so it was this, like, I would say, like, amethyst metallic is the closest thing you can call it. But it was this car parked out on the street in front of my next door neighbor's house. And as a 16-year-old, I'd never seen anything like that. And I was smitten. And I didn't know anything about it but the doors and the lines. I was like, what is this thing? But I didn't have, cars were not in my life the way that they are in LA now. It was
was
just these
stimulating,
little
but you didn't know
bits.
why or what.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had no idea. There's a photo of me. This would have been funny. In like 2007, I was visiting California with my family, and the G-Wagon was my favorite car in high school.
Yeah, I like that too.
Still is one of my very, very favorite cars. There's this photo of me standing, like holding the door handle, like pretending to hold the door handle from years ago that I was like, see, it was always there. I just didn't know. I didn't know how or what about it was in cars, but
And then the
I know
hindsight, of
now.
course, is 2020. Once you find your thing, then you look back and it's like, wait a second, there were actually some stepping stones here and there
were.
that got me to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't realize. That's cool. Good for you. You're doing the work.
Yeah, thanks. I've done a lot of that, yeah.
Okay, so that's what kind of kid you were, sort of not really into cars, but what about you? What about you as a kid? Were you a troublemaker?
No.
Good
I
student?
think having 2 older sisters, I was always a very good student. I liked school. I liked learning. I liked being good at things.
You're very nice. You seem like a very, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're very nice.
Yeah, I would
hate to say that about somebody, but it's true.
No, but I would say very like conflict avoidant as a child. My older 2 sisters got to kind of show me the ropes of things to do and not to do, and so I felt like as a teenager I was a bit more of like an inline person because I was also so busy with volleyball. I played out
Right.
11 out of the 12 months of the year and never have done snow sports or other things that may have endangered my health because volleyball was important to me to get to college, and I did that. So
Did you get a scholarship?
I did.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
A Division II school called Dixie State in St. George, Utah.
You know what? I never went to college, so I don't know.
That's okay.
No, I
No
didn't.
judgment from me.
No.
Oh, okay.
It was,
The mug of Michigan U of M.
yeah.
Almost did. Sorry.
No,
Oh,
it
man.
was-
The look. Woo, sorry.
It was
the U
a-
of M mug behind your head there is Mrs. Ryan's alma mater.
It was a funny thing because my dad, and when I was a junior in high school, was like, you need to start applying to colleges. And directly to him was like, no, Dad, I'm going to get a scholarship. And I was so sure of it. I didn't know
Made it
how, I
happen.
didn't know what or when, but letters came to my house and I felt right about it. And I look back at anything in my life that has worked really well for me. I was sure about it. I loved it. And things just started to happen. And
You're
that's kind of
exactly
how
right.
this has happened with cars so quickly for me.
Manifestation, man.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Good for you. Well, so you knew that young, or you kind of
I-
were already tapped into it even though you didn't know what you were doing?
I didn't know it until I started learning about this kind of stuff maybe a year and a half to 2 years ago.
But I mean, you tapped into that ability. I mean, that's kind of like some super.
I can
human
backtrack
stuff.
on it now. I don't think I knew it at the time. I think it was I manifested that for myself, but I didn't know I was doing it as a 17-year-old. But looking back now, anything that worked out that well for me had those three. I believed. I didn't think there was any reason it couldn't happen, and I wanted it, and it was from within. It wasn't an ego thing. It was just something that I desired.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I know
exactly
these
what
things,
you
and I
mean.
can look back and say, "Oh my gosh, I did that." But
When the
now,
motivations are pure, it's amazing the magic that can happen.
yeah, I made a decision after about 6 months of shooting cars. I thought, I know some people that do this for a living. I'm good friends with some automotive photographers, and I see their incredible life, but I don't know that I see myself being gone that much, being that busy. And so, how am I going to make this mine?
Also committed to just one thing. That's
Right.
was always hard for me.
And I
you
know
had
for
those
sure,
interests.
right. And a lot of photographers do a lot of different things, but I knew for me it was cars. And so about 6 months in, I was working on a patient one day, and I just had this idea. Brittney,
You're still a hygienist at this point.
well,
No, at that point.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yes. It was up until July of this year.
Anyway, I had no idea.
Anyway, I had this, I would call like a download that said, put yourself in the photos with the cars and make it fashion. And I played with Barbies until I was 13 years old. And like looking back at all of these funny things, I'm like, I always liked pretty things and to style things and to have design as aesthetics has always been a big thing for me.
It's all
And so
there.
it was all these things that I'm passionate about with art, design, selective cars, not all cars, but cars that I'm attracted to. And then styling myself to create a story, to tell a story either for the car or put it in a different way that might open up an artistic eye for people.
How do you feel you've done with that? You feel
Well-
you're achieving that goal?
I mean, yeah, I feel like timing is the one thing that I'm not in charge of.
Yeah.
So
So you can just do it, right?
if I'm sure about it, I started telling people in November that I wanted to do that. And that's when I stormed into the Porsche community all of a sudden. And I just got all of this influx of support and help from Bruce and Paul and Mark.
We
Like-
probably met you around then.
Yeah,
It's like you'd
it
been
was
there
in-
forever, though.
Yeah. And that's the thing
That's
about
awesome.
when it's right. And I knew from the beginning that,
Yeah.
okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. And it's just kind of really snowballed since then in a lot of ways.
That's awesome.
I'd
Yeah.
say so.
Yeah.
So God, I don't want to skip ahead. I still want to know about how did you get from Mesa, Arizona out to
Okay,
here?
so
You know what I mean?
good
And-
question.
Okay.
I was in a relationship. He
sorry.
was. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. This is
I
life.
have a knack for this.
This is life. I was in a serious relationship. He was in medical school in California. My last year of dental hygiene school, he was already out here. So I drove out every other weekend just to keep some continuity there. But quickly after moving here, we knew that it wasn't going to work out. And so it was very amicable. All was fine.
Oh.
But now looking back, I think I was recruited by Berkeley in high school for volleyball. And then this relationship, I moved here and it didn't work out quickly. And so I think I was always intended to end up in California somehow.
Right.
And so that was sort of my bridge to get me here because there was nothing retained with that. It would just, we broke apart and my life
just got you
continued.
here.
Exactly. It was a
Yeah.
bridge
I
to
feel
get
like
me
that.
here.
I had something like that too. It's so interesting to hear you talk.
Yeah. So there was that. And then I've lived in LA for almost 7 years. So I was in Culver City, I lived in Santa Monica. and then to Long Beach, where I have told a lot of people I feel like is my hermit crab shell. I get to do a lot of cool and fun things in LA, but when I go home, I'm just home in my apartment that I've created this really nice energy in. So it's nice to have things slow down.
I personally grew up in a bedroom community, so I like that also.
Yeah.
It was great all the years we lived in Venice and everything, and it was nice and it was great when we were young. But like, I love living in just outside the city.
Sure, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, there's benefits to that.
I don't want to ask you this question because it's inappropriate, but you seem younger than, you seem to have achieved this understanding, this enlightenment or whatever, younger than perhaps some.
You know, I've had this conversation even with some of my hygiene patients when I would work on them, just about things I was going through in my life and perspectives that I've come upon, and even people in their 60s and 70s have told me that you know, the way that you look at life is really unique for your age, and I feel blessed. I feel grateful. I've been through some difficult things, but I feel like each one that I've gone through, if I could immediately see why it was a good thing for me, my life rose very quickly. Like I would feel this
perspective, change your perspective.
Like I think life is a wave, and if you are getting tossed in a wave, that's shitty. That sucks. But if you are so sure that this dark time, there's something light on the other side of it, that's ringing true for me so much. And it makes the hard times almost feel like this magical time because you know that something big and good is coming on the other side of it.
Yeah, or you're learning or growing stronger from it or whatever.
Yeah.
As long as you can change the perspective to,
Right.
Why me? To like, all right, let's get through this to the next thing because it's going to get better.
Yes, and if it's something that's repetitive, if it's something that, why me, and it's the same thing that's happening, then there's something in me that,
I don't know why, but it's you.
that I need to change, or I need to learn how to respond differently to that situation in order to say, okay, we're done with that. We've grown. But I've had moments like that where I responded differently to something and I was overwhelmed with this very like peaceful calm of, okay, we're done with that.
You move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't think you wanted to, you didn't think you were gonna, but you just move on.
And sometimes it happens in ways you don't expect it to, but it's...
How do you mean? Got an example?
I mean...
Because, I use the term magic sometimes because
and
I've
I do
seen
too.
things happen that like just, you can't make sense of it. You can't do the math on it. It doesn't work out.
No, I mean, I do too. I think that my dad passed away earlier this year in March. It's okay. He had a form of lung cancer that was not treatable. And so we knew it was coming. We didn't know when, but...
All right. What day in March?
March 20th.
Okay. It doesn't matter at all. But mine also from lung cancer in March.
Okay.
Long time ago.
But I was there with him for a bit of time. I came back to LA and I had coincidentally, I think now at the time, been invited to a lot of really cool car things. There was like 5 things in 7 days that I was invited to, and it kept me really busy during that time.
Keep your mind occupied.
Yes, and I was at this event at P0 World the night that he passed away, and I was trying to be in both places of, I know going to these things is important for me in my future, and I know my dad would want me to be doing these things, but I was having to manage what was actually happening and where I was presently, and just getting to balance those things and realize that I can be present in my emotions and I can be present in what I love, and I don't have to stop my life just because something emotional is happening. I can still go forward and do things and enjoy where I know I'm supposed to be, because if I would have said, no, I'm not going to do this photo shoot, no, I'm not going to go to this movie premiere, no, I'm not going to go to this event, I would have missed out on opportunities, and I would have, under any other circumstance, not had said no to those things. But because I was able to be present with all of those things and with what was going on myself personally, I feel like it was a huge growth moment.
Absolutely.
So things like that, where you just choose to react differently and blessings come.
Again, that's a very enlightened perspective. That's somebody who is able to zoom out and look at the whole thing and go like, what are you worried about?
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's tough to do.
It is. I'm not going to say it's easy by any means. It takes a lot of daily presence to know that.
Could you ever go back?
Could I, or would I want to, or no?
However you want to do it.
Honestly,
I think the answer is the same.
No, I feel like it's like you can't unsee it once you've seen it, and I can't. Even with people and observing psychological situations and how people behave and why they behave, I can't unsee what I know. And sometimes in little ways you could see it as a burden, because it's like being a bird on a perch. Like you see a lot and maybe you don't want to see that, and maybe other people don't want to be seen. But I can't I can't go
You
back.
can't turn the power off.
can't,
Yeah,
no.
I know,
And
it's weird.
But it feels magical, and I would rather have that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think that you are the type of person who probably will do a lot of good with it, especially
Yes.
now that you're following your calling, as I like to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
You're doing what you were intended to do, what you were
Yeah.
sort of made to do. I know that our life has changed dramatically once I started. We make the I don't hear any voices, but we make the joke from the show of like, once you start listening to the voices, once you like, you know, you
Yeah.
listen to whatever, like, hey, you should do that, and like, yeah, you should just try that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm no good.
But that's the thing. I would say that there's like 3 voices. One of them, and this is in a book that by Michael Singer that I read called The Untethered Soul, and he talks about how there's you and there's the voice in your head that talks to you, and how could you be the person, that voice in your head, if you're the one
Right.
listening to
Right.
it? And so that was a differentiation for me, where I thought, okay,
We're talking about conscience now, probably.
sure,
or
yeah,
whatever you want to call it. Sure.
You're you or whatever, you know,
Higher-
however you
higher-
want to call that. But knowing that me with myself with who I knew to be, I'm never going to talk negatively about myself or throw doubt at myself, or if I can label doubt, fear, or any of those things in my mind, you almost create that as that's an entity, that's a person, and that couldn't be me. So
Right,
learning how
interesting.
to not
So you
not
break down
get
those
rid of
barriers
it.
yourself,
Yeah.
to make sure. So to check in with yourself.
Yeah. So if I have a great idea or a gut instinct to do something that's scary, okay, is this scary in a bad way, or is this scary in a way that this makes
Exciting
me feel
scary.
and I want to do
Yes,
this? So
yes.
if
The
anything,
butterflies.
yes, but if anything after that comes where it's like, oh, but are you sure you can do this? Are you good enough? That none of that is you. That's just the mind talking,
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
body going, I'm scared of this.
and that's okay.
But whatever the voice is not scared of it. It's zoomed out. It can see the whole
Mm-hmm.
game, the whole board, the whole everything.
yeah, and once you get more present with those feelings of this is a scary thing that's good for me, all of that doubt kind of just starts to get quiet.
Do you feel that you're kind of like in the flow of life? Like right now you're
Yeah.
in the swim?
I do. I just got back from Monterey, and I
Hang on. You literally just got back from Monterey, right? Like literally last night?
I stopped to see a friend, and then I got back yesterday. So I took a very long
You said you slept for
slumber.
12 hours.
I slept for 12 hours.
Good for you. You
I
need to. Good
I
for you.
require a lot of recharge, especially if I'm doing something so energetically outputting for 5 days. It was incredible, but it was a lot. But with that, the moment I realized I could go was about 5 weeks before it. And I thought, if I can just get myself there, which is an investment, if I can just get myself there, if I'm supposed to be somewhere, I will be. And I got to be in a lot of really incredible places, and I literally felt like I was magic. Like,
Oh,
as
great.
ridiculous as that may sound to some
Nope.
people, it was the most incredible time.
I
That's
love
fantastic.
hearing that. That's so great.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff did you do up there? I mean, obviously we know about the auction. We know about the wonderful
Yeah.
Porsche Zentrum. We've had
Yeah.
Ray Schaefer and the people checking in, obviously, from all the
Wonderful.
places. What did you do up there that was specifically exciting? Was this your first time?
It
Blah,
was
blah,
my
blah.
my inaugural car week, and I
big
felt
deal.
like I did it with a bang. I had some wonderful friends in the car community that either through Instagram or through meeting at car shows were able to provide me opportunities because they had extra things, have been doing this
Oh,
for a really
that's
long
nice.
time, and just had the ability to share. And so,
What did you do there?
okay,
There you
so what was that?
Did you shoot? I mean, I
I did.
wanna
I had
lead
my
anything.
cameras with me the whole time, but I got to do it for myself. I wasn't there working for anybody, but
Oh,
I
that's
knew
nice.
that me being there was working for myself. That if I can be in the eye of opportunity, then I will meet people, have conversations, and just let it flow. So I got to dress myself and style myself in fun ways that I felt really fit my personality, and go and take my camera with me and sort of be this enigma of she's dressed this way, but she's also like squatting down and taking photos. And
Oh, that's how I met you. I took a picture of you squatting,
Yes,
taking a
you
photo
did.
at some event.
Adam, it
Holy
was
cow!
the
I
fundraiser
was taking
for
a
the
picture of the
Woolsey
car.
fires.
I took a great picture of
You
a great
did.
car. I don't even remember what it was. And then when I was, of course, editing it, whatever, I was like, ha ha, because like on the other side, she's taking the opposite. Yeah, and then somehow people commented Paul Kennel, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and that's how we met. Okay,
Yes.
all right.
So I often get photographed of me because I'll either
Getting the
sit on the
shot.
floor or squatting down and
I
people.
think that was my thing, getting the shot.
Yes. So I was at the McCall's party, and Lisa
magazine?
Taylor saw me and
she-
started taking photos of me shooting the cars. And so it just ended up being this funny thing. And I got a lot of photos that night and actually through the entire week of me doing that. So that's just a funny aside. But I got to
You
go to
remember
the
Lisa Taylor flying L racing?
yeah. So it's Gordon McCall's. They do a jet party. It's at the airport.
Oh, that
and
of course.
it's
Yes.
beautiful cars
Yes,
and
yes.
jets, and it was so
I
that was
saw
the
pictures of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was Wednesday night.
Quite a nice evening. Yes.
Yes.
Up in Monterey, that was
When I was a kid, McCall's was like a mom's magazine.
It was-
like
it
a
was
woman's
patterns.
Like
I
Women's
don't
Day
know.
Or what, yeah. So
it was just patterns.
just old.
We used to have patterns of like clothes that my mom would make, like all McCall's. That's all I could think
Oh,
of.
there we go. Now I get it.
like
okay.
a Good Housekeeping. Or one of those.
Yes. No, this is Gordon and Molly McCall. They do
Yeah,
a
much
party.
different.
Different.
Sorry.
That's okay. So that was the first thing. And then Thursday was the Pebble Tour. So you see the cars that are going to be at Concourse on Sunday. Got to walk through and see them all up close and personal. And
So
then-
they
Is
weren't
this when they're all?
driving.
This is when they're
Not
all
yet,
on the street,
and then they
right?
drive. So
Oh, I
they're on the golf course, and then I guess a little aside from the golf course, and then they
But they do
drive
that-
down to Bixby Bridge.
Yeah, there we go.
And so then we were there watching the cars leave, and then we drove down to Bixby and got to get some cool photos of that as well.
Those are the greatest pictures because
it
then you
was-
see the cars in motion and
Yeah.
they're out and moving and.
Definitely. I still have a lot to learn about photographing cars in motion, but it went okay. After that, got to go to RM, the preview. So I didn't actually get to attend the actual auctions, but I got to see the cars at RM without a
Do
bunch
you
of
know our
people around,
friend
so that was
Ramsey
fun.
Potts from RM Sotheby's?
No,
Really?
I don't.
Ramsey, I
no.
love
A hat. He's always very well put together. A lot of energy. Hey, it's Ramsey.
I got to
He's
meet
a
Owen,
character.
but not, I
The best.
didn't meet Ramsey.
All right.
Oh my
but
gosh.
that was fun. Got to see the Ferrari collection that was being sold and be told all of these interesting facts about it. So that was neat.
Do you understand? Are you able to? Do you have capacity for all that stuff? Because I don't. I don't necessarily.
I don't.
anymore.
And to be honest, not growing up in cars, there's a lot that I don't know, and not every car brand is something that I'm drawn to.
Sure.
But I can appreciate things that other people have curated.
But when
and
somebody like a Paul Kennel who knows all of the stats on every year and every option and all the stuff, and
I
then when they
can't.
start like go, and this is rude. This is very rude. I'm not.
No,
This is
no.
just the universal sign for Paul Kennel talking. When that happens, it's kind of like my eyes gloss over because like I know maybe the first half a second of what he's talking about, and then it's just like.
Yeah, no, it depends. If it's something I'm super interested in, like the McLaren F1s that were there, I was super
that's-
happy to hear things about that. There's certain car brands that
We were talking about that
Porsche,
yesterday.
Porsche, Aston Martin, McLaren, Mercedes, Koenigsegg, Bentley are probably the brands
That's
that
your
I'm
jam.
the most
Okay.
drawn to. But part of it is because they're just such. Well, McLaren is different, but they're very just timeless and
Oh, yeah,
articulate
McLaren's the new kid.
brands. But I love that
Sure.
because they do
They're the
what they do.
disruptor.
Yeah, and I feel like
They
in
did it
ways
with racing first. Now they're
Yeah.
doing it with street cars.
I feel like in ways I'm a bit of a disruptor because I don't come into this doing things the way that everyone else has done it. And I.
That's why you're
think-
going to succeed.
But I think
you're
I-
a common fool.
Yeah,
So
but
am I.
but I'm okay with that. And until something comes up into my life where it's like you need to do it this way or you need to have this way this.
Greater
but I
fool. Greater
but I
fool.
don't. But I don't think.
Untruer words were never
Oh
spoken.
my.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. That's okay.
Sorry.
So seeing the McLaren F1 HDK at RM was incredible. There's certain cars that I feel like stop me in my tracks and I start shooting them and I just can't stop. And so
Okay.
that's really
Is it you'll see a line or the light or
it's
you don't even
just
know?
I have
Everything.
an emotional resonance with cars. Not all of them, but with some of them, and with
Even when
Porsches
they're
for
sitting
sure.
static?
Yeah, even when they're sitting
You
static.
just get
I
a
think
feeling.
It's. I mean, I feel like because I didn't grow up in cars, I come at it from a design and aesthetic perspective, and then some
Fresh eyes.
and some cars, even if I know nothing about them, it's like I'm drawn to the right cars. It's like, oh, there was a DB5 on the lawn at Pebble Concourse, and it was just this incredible car.
The James Bond one that you did a story about.
Yeah. But there's just certain things that you may put a bunch of cars in a room and I may not know anything about them, and I'll for some reason pick out the ones that also mean something to someone else.
Yeah, I'm that way too.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
find the quality or the story or
Exactly.
the something there you're drawn to.
Yeah.
I think it's because we read between the lines. In general, we live life between the lines a little
Yes.
bit. The 369 of it all.
Yeah, I think there's I got invited to the Aston House by Laura Schwalb. I got to meet her at Quail, which was a
Listen to
really
you.
cool
What an
moment.
opportunity.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I got to actually see the DBX reveal. Which
Oh, you
is
were there that
Aston
night?
Martin's new SUV. They did a few different showings of it, but
Okay.
I actually cried when I saw that car.
Whoa.
They had a video about the history of things and that they've been building sports cars for 106 years. And then they had a little presentation before showing the car, just saying about how much love and passion and just the words that they were using to describe the art that they create really resonated with me. And so when the sheet came up and I saw the car, it wasn't just like a tear. I like had tears coming down my face, and I had an emotional connection to that car. And that's not the first time that's happened, but it was just another signifier to me that like this is really where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to
That's
be
what
doing.
it says to me. That was an emotional release of I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
I'm
Tell
on the
people
right
I had
path.
an emotional response, but yeah.
People that get it. Like it's
Yeah.
just it's weird to have that
it's life's pat on
connection
the
to
back.
something
Absolutely.
else. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty rad.
And it was also like a moment of gratitude, being like, there's could be a lot of reasons why I shouldn't be here, like why I shouldn't have been at this party or at this event or that. But I stopped asking why once cool things started happening. I just thought that if I'm here, it's because I'm supposed to be, and people see and feel the way that I am, and my authenticity and how I go about things, and maybe the fact that I don't do things differently, and I am a little bit of a disruptor, but
You do things differently.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to continue to do that, and I think it's working well for me, and I don't know where it's all going to go, but
You're going to be just fine. Nobody's worried
Yeah.
about you. Yeah. No, it's more like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? It's more like, hey, how do we help you steer your ship where
Yeah.
you want it to go?
along those
Is there anything we
lines-
can do? No joke. Is there anything we can do to help you other than obviously this and telling people about you and having people go check out your Instagrams and stuff?
I don't know. I think I'm not the type of person to ask people for things, and so
Because
think
you attract them, right? Once they're right and once you know.
Yeah, I think a little bit about what I know about my energetics is that I am supposed to be the most me and do the things that light me up. And if I am doing those things, that the right opportunity and the right people will be drawn, and I feel that it's magnetism. And it happened at Car Week every day and got louder and louder and louder, and I got to participate and be a part of some just incredible things. And I had moments of stepping back and just looking like, look what happened this day, like of all the events that happened this day, and going back through, and it was just, I was overwhelmed with gratitude that
That'll do it. That'll only make more magic happen, by the way.
yeah. So I don't know. I think that I think saying no is powerful in a lot of ways. I think because I'm new at things doesn't mean that I need to say yes to every opportunity that presents itself to me.
Agreed. Good for you.
But I
Stay
think
on your
that,
path, whatever that is,
yeah,
period.
But I think that
The other
just
things are just shiny things.
yeah, yes,
Squirrel.
tests. Squirrel.
Totally.
But I think that
Hi,
by being very sure with what my path is and waiting for things that feel like a yes for me, things often are either a yes or a no for me, and I know kind of right away with people and things.
You know it from other places.
I do.
Yes.
I feel it. And so if opportunities arise that are a yes for me, I kind of like the idea of not really knowing what those are, where they're going to come from.
And having the
So-
faith that they will come when you need them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm doing what I want to do and I get to pursue doing what I'm wanting to do until December 1st, I have the ability to just go into this full time.
What happens December 1st? That's
I
like
get
you
to make
budget-
it.
you-
I
like
get
you've
to
made your own
I get to
schedule.
make
I
a
see.
decision of where my life goes from then. But
Wow, when
in
did you
another
set
way,
that date?
it was after I had back surgery.
Okay, I'm glad we're talking about that.
yeah.
I was going to, you just said, I shouldn't have been in all these places. It might not have been. Right before you went under the knife, you had some serious stuff going it resonated with me because I have neck and back issues.
Yeah.
Can you tell everybody what happened?
Yes, I had a 9mm herniated disc at L4-5. That's the third time I've had spinal surgery
And on your
in
back,
10
L4
years.
and 5 is somewhere in the neighborhood of the lumbar,
Yeah,
right?
so
Middle
where your
lumbar?
tailbone is, there's L5S1 and then L45 is the one right
So
above it.
really
So very low. I've had that one worked on twice, and L34 worked on 3.5 years ago. The one 3.5 years ago, my entire right leg went numb, and I have some permanent nerve damage in my right leg. So in ways, I can resonate with what it feels like to not have your body working properly always. It took me 7 months to learn how to walk normally again, and that I feel like was humbling in a lot of ways.
With
but
physical
I wouldn't,
therapy.
No, just with time. My muscles had to adapt and figure out how to redo that. There was tripping and falling. There was a lot of just rebalancing things, and I took up reformer Pilates last January, and that kind of really changed things for me. It gave me a way to still use my body in the way that it could be used and feel strong about it. I gave up volleyball entirely because I was good at that for a time, but I don't need to chase things that I used to be good at, and I would never be able to play in the same regard that I used to. And so I just said,
if that's also not going to be your career, why are you? What's the?
Well, some people do it forever. Some people chase who they were in high school. And,
I see.
And I just, and I just had a moment where I was like, I really loved that, but I think I'm at a moment where I can find other things that I love.
Yes.
Yeah.
People say that to me a lot about swimming, and it's like, I would love to go sit in the pool, but like my endurance is not the same.
Yeah.
Like I used to swim literally for 2.5 hours at a time and then be in the workout room.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do it if I can't do
No,
that.
and that's a thing I think is important to get to, where if anything that you're doing doesn't make you feel good, or if anything you're doing without it being a learning process, or without it being something that, I want to do this, and so let me go through the struggle needed to get me there. If you're continually doing something that doesn't feel good to your body or to yourself, it's just not for you. And to be able to make that decision is important, I think. So I had surgery 7 weeks ago. Again,
7 weeks ago.
That sounds so nuts.
I feel like you should be in bed.
But
let
I
alone a
was
Monterey
for,
car week.
I was for a while, but I think the timing of everything, like
I feel like I saw your pictures, and then I saw you walking around PEC, and it was like 2 weeks later.
yeah, I went
Is
to
that right?
John Benton's 2 weeks later, and that was my first social outing after my surgery.
Maybe that's what it was.
But I didn't take my camera with me because I still wasn't able to. I couldn't bend or twist for 5 weeks.
You're not going to go do your.
No.
Get
So
your shots, yeah.
once I finally got my camera back in my hands, I was really excited because this is what I love. But the time of sort of being in bed and being calm and not having plans for 4.5 weeks was really special, because I felt, this time is actually a gift. I was able to have this surgery in a timely place for me to be able to go to Monterey and be totally healed. But if my life is going to get much busier after all of this happens, then I should take this time as an actual gift of healing and calm.
You need the decompression,
Yeah.
the whole reconciliation, all of that
Yeah,
stuff.
and I got to
Just
do a
clear
lot
your
of
head.
I got to do a lot of photo editing and getting caught up on the content that I'd had from previously, and it was a really special time.
That helps lighten the load as well. Sometimes
Yeah.
getting through that stuff.
Sure,
The digital
yeah.
dump.
So I got to 6 weeks out from surgery be in Monterey, and people were like, "How's your back?" And I said, honestly, I sometimes forget that I was even in pain, and that's the most incredible outcome I could have expected. But the pain was gone immediately. But the thing that was cut out of my back was 3.5 inches long and 9 millimeters wide.
And
It
looked
was
like it was
giant.
from Alien.
I know. My surgeon, every
looked
time he
like-
sees me, was like, "I still can't believe you were walking." But I don't know, I'm self-sufficient in a lot of ways, and I'm the type of person that if I need to do this, if I need to work full-time to support myself, if I need to follow my passions, I'm going to do all of those things that I can in the capacity that I want to. But I'm very good at saying no to things that I don't want to give my time and energy to.
Yeah.
Because as you guys were saying earlier, regardless of who you are, what your life circumstance is, time is valuable, and who you choose to give that to and how you spend it is important.
Yeah.
And the more that people become present with that, I think the more value they bring to their own lives. So
I have literally zero worry for you. Does that make any sense? You are going to be so fine with anything that you want to do because
Thank
you've got
you.
it all. You have all of the pieces, and they're even in the right places. You already have it. You've put it together. You're just waiting for the results. Does that make sense? Like the puzzle piece from the movie, like, oh, it's assembled. She did it. Now it's just like, oh, you're going to collect that stuff. Your magnet is strong.
yeah, thank you. Sorry, that's really powerful.
Well, I meant it.
That was one of the things right before car week that I realized that, sorry,
We like
And
people crying on
anything-
the show. I'm the new Roy Firestone.
anything that I want or innately desire, I am worthy of. It's not a time that I need to wait until X, Y, and Z is done. It's just affirming that belief in myself that if I want these things, or if I have always seen my life looking a certain way, it's because it's supposed to at some point. So just losing any sort of limiting belief or thought that I'm not yet worthy or in time or I'm not deserving yet, I rid all of that and had a really strong moment with that right before I left for Monterey. And I feel like it came back to me immediately in that time. So.
It's going to keep coming back, magnified, magnified, magnified. You got it. You got it.
What
You're
it's
pushing the
about.
right buttons.
Yeah.
And you're putting wonderful love out into the world and wonderful art.
Thank you.
And this is the stuff that we need, especially right now. I'm not
Thank
trying to
you.
get political, but we're going to be in another art renaissance solely from the fact that you can 3D print everything today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
homemade bespoke items
No,
are
it's-
the future.
Technology is incredible. The things we're able to do, the things we can do with cameras, I think there's an analog love with film and with air-cooled Porsches, and there's a technology love with, hypercars and PDK cars and mirrorless cameras. There's a whole
You brought a
different...
Polaroid and an iPhone today,
Yeah,
right? Or whatever,
yeah.
some sort of
Yeah.
digital.
Yes, I have... My little brother shoots film. I have a lot of good friends that shoot film, and I think that art is incredible, but it's a whole nother medium of attention. And the way that I am about certain things, I have my Sony that I love, and that's my workhorse, and I have my Leica Polaroid that I like to take snaps of because it's fun and cute, and
Yep.
and I have them littered all over my apartment because they're just memories. But
Have you always been into photography? We didn't even really hit that.
I want to say yes. So
But before cars, you were already in.
Right, like
yeah.
in 7th grade, I had a friend that took a photography class, and I wanted to do that, but I didn't have a camera. And being in a gaggle of children in my family, I didn't come from wealth, and so asking my parents to invest in something that I didn't want to
That's a high
ask.
ticket item too.
Yeah, and
camera.
so, but now understanding that if you're, passionate about something, there was always a way.
Yeah.
But I never asked.
That's right. If you
and
wanted to play the
so-
saxophone, they would have gotten you a
yeah,
saxophone.
I played the trumpet for 5 years.
There you go.
actually. But that was given to us because and again, you look back and I wanted to do something and we found a way without having to purchase it.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was always something I had an interest in, but until I was in the position where I could buy myself a camera, and then I just taught myself how to use it. And I feel like there's probably things about it that I don't know that I should,
Yeah.
but I just learned it in my own way, and I do it all in the way that makes sense to me. And I feel like I can only give so much focus to certain things at a time. Like I don't
Nice
want to
pun.
have many I want to have like many cameras because I shoot cars and that's mainly what I shoot. So I have a camera and a 24-70 lens that works well, and that's what I have. I don't feel like I need the whole array of everything to do what I do.
It's not about the equipment. It's
Yeah.
what's the best photographer, I don't care, name a name in the world, say what the best camera is. Whatever one you have with you.
I mean, quality is amazing, but you can photos have been taken of me with iPhones that you wouldn't be
but
able
whatever
to
you have with you is the right one. You
It's
know what I mean?
it's about framing, and it's about if you have an emotion behind what it is that you're doing, people can tell.
I've always firmly believed it's about the photographer and not the equipment.
It
always.
is. It is.
It's about the eye. And my dad was a commercial photographer. He's the one who taught me
Yeah.
all of that stuff. And it's like, I guess he ingrained it in me.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with how much you've spent on the lens.
It really doesn't.
It will make your pictures better, but like,
yes, there's
you
something
have
to
to make
be-
the good picture.
There's something to be said about quality there, but yes, you can take amazing photos with lesser equipment.
Can I ask you why you follow exactly 1,111 friends?
Sure.
I don't care about the friendship aspect of it or the
No,
following.
it's
Why
not
that
about
number?
that.
Yes. From a 111 guy.
Yes. No. Good question. Repeating numbers are a thing for me, and not just that number, but in ways that number is one of them. I think that 1111 is sort of the universal number for spirituality and manifestation and things like that. And so my followers count was edging up 900. Once I started meeting car people, it was like going really fast. And I just thought, there's a way. I had already started paring down things that I follow. My Instagram the people that I follow are
You
people
curate it.
people that inspire me, accounts that lift me up, people that I feel like I can call expanders, have lives and lifestyles that I want to have someday. It's all happy things. And so I wanted to cap it at a number just to not have it be something frivolous that I'm just
Yes.
adding and adding and adding. I want to
agree.
curate it. And so I kept it at that number because that number seemed special and relevant to me because I had already passed a lot of the other ones, I guess we'll put it that way. And so now it becomes even more curated. If someone new comes into my life that I want to follow, I go through the list and I take somebody out,
So do I.
and I keep it so confined. And in ways, I'm like, at some point this might start offending people, because if I start unfollowing people from years back that I don't actually keep in contact with, but it's not about them. It's about me.
It can't be about that. It has to be about you and what you're doing. And I do the exact same thing at 9/11 for the exact same reason.
And I had a funny, I had a funny...
Solely because of the Porsche thing. Otherwise, it would be 111 or 1111.
I wanted to hit 1,111 followers by Luft. And it happened, or by my birthday, which is the day after Luft, but it happened on May 11th. And so it was just this really funny moment of like this really special day for me. And these numbers mean a lot to me. And the more that you see them and you put meaning to them, they pop up everywhere.
Then all of a sudden the patterns start revealing themselves. And you're like, wait a second.
Yeah. And
what? This can't possibly be real. And you're like, but the math checks out.
I know. And I find that they mean different things for different people.
Yeah.
But,
sure.
But
well,
I'll
it's
go
a personal thing.
Yeah.
It is a personal thing.
Yeah. I went to this like self-love event a couple months back, and I left and I was feeling very, very high vibration. And I left and I drove out. I was in downtown LA, and there was a neon sign that said honey, and which was like I'm Honey and the Bee for my thing. And then I turned and looked left, and there was a 777 light up sign as well.
Lucky.
And so seeing those two things together was just like, okay, you're doing you're doing the right things. And so whether you want to really apply meaning to what a specific multiple digit means, or if it's what it means to you when you see it.
And then you tell somebody about it and they're like, you're crazy. Get back on the plane.
People can think I'm...
They're only looking at the one thing, and that is crazy.
Yeah.
But if they could see all of them,
the spread of
then
it
there's a
all the
pattern.
time.
They just can only see the one. It is crazy.
Yeah.
It's an awareness. It's the zoom out thing.
It
you are
is.
going to be just fine.
Thank you.
Not worried about you at all. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about today while you're here? Also, feel free to come back anytime. We love you.
Thank you.
Okay. But for today.
Not necessarily. I feel like I can...
Do we cover everything that you wanted to talk about?
I go with the flow, so I don't know that there's anything else that I would have wanted to.
I didn't have an agenda other than crying and laughing, and we've done both.
Yeah, I think we've done all of the things. I'm a bit of a nerd in every regard, in cars and spirituality and fashion and passion.
Do you wake up with this smile and this enlightenment and this everything, or do you have to do that?
I feel like at this point in my life, I'm just kind of in it. Like I'm
Good for you. You
living
wake up
it.
that way too.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It is. And I, again, feel very grateful at my age to know the things that I do, but it was not without going through struggle to get here.
Word.
Yeah.
Powerful word. I love it.
Thank you.
I asked you about Bruce Brown. All right. Health, childhood, cameras, cars. We got it all.
Perfect.
Mrs. Ryan, what else do we have to do? Let's see. We got to do a billboard. You're on social media. We talked about it, but let's do that anyway. Make sure we get that at a...
Get both.
All right. Social, Instagram. Let's have it.
Hey, what are we doing?
What's your Instagram?
Brittney Leister. It's BRITTNEYLEESTER.
Awesome. Hi, Mrs. Ryan.
Hi.
We're on. Sweet. There's that. And do you have anything to plug? Are you going to be anywhere this weekend? You doing any car stuff, or are you going to just kind of go to bed and relax?
I think that I might be doing a event on Saturday.
What is it? Can we say it, or is it a private secret thing?
Not necessarily, but I don't generally tell everyone where I'm going before I go. I don't know why I do that, but
see.
I'm probably going to be seeing the Valhalla this weekend, which is one of Aston Martin's new vehicles.
Cool.
I saw it at Car Week, but I'll get to see it again on Saturday.
Well, you made a lot of friends up there, so it makes sense to keep those relationships
Absolutely.
alive. Yeah, good for you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Fun.
All right, so there's that. And then Sunday, if you're not doing anything, we've got the Cars and Coffee Los Angeles over around the corner, which is always a good one.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
I haven't yet made it, but...
So that's what's going on. Oh, really? And then, well, hang on. And then for everybody else, tomorrow's Breakfast Club. Have you been up to Breakfast Club yet?
I did.
You
I think
have
that's
been to
where I
Breakfast
first
Club.
met Nicole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have pictures of that and stuff too.
We do.
And Bruce
With
Brown.
Bruce.
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, tomorrow is Breakfast Club, everybody. Please come on out if you feel like it. Newcomb's opens at 9. We get around then, and usually stay till close to noon. Yeah. Sometimes we're like, it's 10 o'clock. It's a dead day. We're going to leave early. And then 11 o'clock, somebody shows up or a bunch of people show up. And lunchtime.
Never know.
It's lunch at Newcomb's. That's it. And then next week, other stuff. Another bunch of guests. It's a full week.
Yeah.
I didn't write any of the names down. Do you know anybody?
Only Wednesday's set. Everything else is, it's a comedian.
Okay, beautiful.
Everything else is up in the
Fell apart right at the end. I love it. That's all right. I love you so much, Mrs. Ryan. Brittney Hamilton, we love you so much.
Aw, thank you
you very
guys.
much for being here. And
Thank
thank
you
you
for
so much for
having me.
putting out your energy in the world. You're going to be awesome. You're awesome now, but like, don't worry about a thing. We love everybody at home. Please love one another. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great weekend. See you next week. Very good at it. You're incredibly eloquent.
Thank you. But also, I'm never sure what's going to come out of my mouth. And I'm like, well, now everyone knows this, so here we go.